from the nonprofit community, so to help you get familiar with them and them get familiar with you. Today we have Heather Diehl from the Area Foundation. Heather, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
Awesome. Well, welcome so much. I've known about the Area Foundation for quite a while, but why don't you tell our listeners what the Area Foundation is and what your role is?
Sure, absolutely. The Area Foundation, the San Antonio Area Foundation, is the community foundation for the greater San Antonio area. We've been around since 1964, and in that time, so our first grant that we ever gave was a year later, and it was for $868 to the Alamo Heights School District.
The Alamo Heights School District had
Yes.
borrowed $800?
Apparently so.
Did they pay you back?
So. It was a grant that was, yes, a grant that was given to them. But since that time, last year in 2017, we have given out over $52 million in grants in many local nonprofits and nonprofits all over the country. So we have grown from that small grant to $52 million back into the local community.
So $52 million around the country. Tell me about around the country.
Most of the grants that we have are local grants for local nonprofits, but we also have a number of scholarship grants that go out, and those students are attending schools that are outside of the greater San Antonio area.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
That is so. Now,
yes.
how do people find out about that?
There is a lot of information on our website, particularly about the scholarships. It has the list of different scholarships, the different criteria that they have, and they can just go on there. Our scholarship season typically opens around November, and there will be deadline information in there as well. But it's just, I was just talking to our scholarships officer the other day, and this past year, we awarded in new scholarships, so students that hadn't received a scholarship from us before, a little over $5 million in scholarships.
Oh my God.
To almost 700 students.
That's serious money.
That is serious. That is serious money, and you know, with the cost of higher education these days, every little bit helps.
So is it retroactive? I got one kid that's out of college.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, no. But my role at the Area Foundation, I'm the Donor Relations Officer of Engagement. And so what I do is I work with our current donors and look for ways that they can marry their passion, their philanthropy, and put those together. And so in a bit, I'll tell you a story about one of our donors that is very special.
You know, Doc, probably there's no part of our community that the San Antonio Area Foundation doesn't touch and improve. It really is about the spirit of caring and sharing broadly in San Antonio. And so, Heather, you're in a perfect position to comment on sort of the philanthropic flavor of San Antonio. What do you think defines the spirit of giving in San Antonio?
I never cease to be amazed by the generosity of this community. When I think about this past hurricane season with Hurricane Harvey, and we had so many people that were affected, particularly our brothers and sisters along the Texas Gulf Coast, we had several companies in town that created emergency relief funds with us, where we were able to get out emergency funds to them in terms of gift cards. And we gave out, with all of the companies combined, over $3 million to people that were affected by the hurricanes.
So no, I thought the foundation worked more. So you guys were able to disperse funds immediately like that. Because I thought it was a long kind of a process where you get funds, you invest funds.
Right. No, this is a relatively new program for us. We started this program in 2015. Started very small, and it's just blossomed. It's
Heather, when people hear, it's a fancy sounding word, philanthropy, and they typically think of and it's great, the very rich, the wealthiest among us. And by the way, and cherish them for the philanthropy that they do provide to locally and nationally and globally. But also we want to make the point that everyone can be a philanthropist through their donations of both money and time. What's your perspective on people from all different socioeconomic groups participating in the Area Foundation and being part of San Antonio's philanthropy?
Absolutely, Jim. I totally agree with that. That's the whole point of a community foundation, is so that anyone in the community can participate. Whether they open a fund with us, whether they receive a scholarship grant from us, whether they do workshops and trainings with us, whether they attend one of our events through one of our outreach funds, like the San Antonio Area African American Community Fund, which is having their Renaissance with the Stars event in a couple of weeks. You know, there are multiple ways that people can participate through the community foundation, and that's truly what we are. We are here to serve the community.
Now, do you have a favorite story about the impact of someone making a gift to the Area Foundation and really kind of making a difference and touching and lifting lives?
Absolutely. There is one donor that he and I probably talk every other week. The fund is a donor-advised fund, and it was created by his parents.
And why don't you explain what a donor-advised fund is?
Absolutely. So a donor-advised fund is a pool of money. The minimum amount to open a donor-advised fund with us is $25,000. But what happens is that money becomes assets of the Area Foundation, and then the fund advisors can make a recommendation to a 501c3 organization. So 501c3 is the tax code that regulates nonprofit organizations. So this particular donor, his parents have both passed away, and he is the sole fund advisor. And when his parents set up the fund, generally donor advised funds have very broad purposes, so they can support just about any kind of nonprofit. But his father had put in a very specific purpose for this donor-advised fund. And the first part, when he and I met, he was a little put off by that, because he had some areas that he was really passionate about. But what has been really great in working with this particular donor is that even within that kind of limited framework, he has found many organizations that he's been able to support. And he will call me he hears about an organization, he attends some event, and he wants to know, is this particular grant available or not? Can he do this? One of the things that he did recently, which I thought was really great, and I wish all of our donors did this, is there were two organizations. One was a camp that had summer camp programs, and the other was an organization that does science, has science exhibits and such. The two organizations didn't know each other. And so he introduced them to one another, and now some of the summer campers are going to that science-based organization, which is great. So really a win-win for everybody.
So now, Heather, help me here about the process, because I think Jim was talking earlier about the very, very fortunate who are able to give tons of money for specific things, and you name things after them. Mm-hmm. But so what if the average citizen mm-hmm. in San Antonio wanted to do something because they had a particular passion about something in remembrance of a family member, or they're cat lovers and want to do something for the cat society.
Yay, cats!
Yes, cats are awesome.
Our listeners know how many cats I have. So, but how would one do that?
There are several ways that we could do that. We have some general funds,
okay,
which are used for operating. We also have funds that mirror the program areas where we give the community grants.
Okay. So how would I contribute into those? And how would that work?
Sure. On our website, there is on the home page, there's a section that says Give Now that people can directly contribute to that. Mm-hmm. When they're contributing, they can also say that they want it to go to a particular area. Okay. If there's not a fund that is in that particular philanthropic area, and we have many funds that cover many areas, mm-hmm. We usually have some kind of communication with the donor so that we can make sure that it's where the donor wants it to go. Okay.
So now what about estate gifts?
Oh. Yes, I was wondering when you were going to ask me that. We also, so what's great is our community grant process, which happens twice a year in several different areas, and those are primarily funded by donors who are no longer with us.
Okay.
So they have become community funds. The largest gift that we received with respect to that was a gift from John Santikos. Wow. If you've been to John Santikos movie theater, Mr. Santikos was a very successful businessman.
To say the least.
Yes, to say the least. And when he passed away, he left his estate to the Area Foundation. So the movie theaters, the real estate, the raw land, all the assets that were part of that came to the Area Foundation, and the total amount of that gift was about $600 million, which was the largest gift in San Antonio's history,
So
and the largest gift in the U.S. that year.
That's a gift that keeps on giving.
It is
So
truly.
every time someone buys a ticket,
Correct.
funds go to the Area Foundation.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, so
okay, so I guess my little question about me
Please.
leaving an insurance policy with you guys or something, that's just kind of like,
No, any size gift really. Actually, it's kind of interesting that we're talking about this. My husband and I are going through the process right now of getting our wills and all of our documents in order.
You can't do that too soon.
Yeah, and one of the things that we have done is we have created a designated fund that will be funded, designated fund with the Area Foundation that will be funded after both of us have passed away. So
Tell me what a designated fund is. Now we're getting to...
Now you're getting into the meat. So a designated fund is a particular nonprofit that you have designated. Could be one or more nonprofits.
It has to be an
that you've
existing
named.
one, or can it be one that's created after you pass away?
Well, so there's also a field of interest fund. So if there were, like, let's say you were interested in animals, but
Okay.
you weren't interested in any of the existing animal organizations, you could create a field of
Say, to use myself as an example.
Please.
Let's say I wanted to leave $500,000 to the...
By the way, is this a pledge?
You never know.
That's right.
To the Smokey the Cat Foundation. I had
Uh-huh.
a cat named Smokey, and I want to name something in remembrance of him.
Sure.
Right? I can do that?
You could name the fund in memory of Smokey, absolutely.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And Smokey's memory can live on through service to many of the animal services organizations.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, Heather, the San Antonio Area Foundation is also a terrific resource for education and training
Yes.
for the nonprofit community, both for professional staff and board members and volunteers.
Yes.
Can you talk a little about the programming that it offers?
Sure, absolutely. So we know that in many nonprofits, and particularly those of us that are fundraisers, many of us are what I call accidental fundraisers. It's not like I went to college and decided that I wanted to go into fundraising. Both of my parents were executive directors of nonprofits, and my uncle is also a development professional. But we offer trainings and workshops to help fill in the gaps, because there is a lot to know about fundraising. And when I came to the Area Foundation a little over 7 years ago, community foundations are even more different from nonprofits. Even though we're a nonprofit, the way that we're regulated is very different. So we have trainings and workshops on fundraising, on communications, on social media, just anything that you can imagine. We also have certificate programs. I just participated in the supervisory and managerial program, which was excellent. And there's a lot more information about the various certification programs that we have on the website, and deadlines and all of that.
Very nice, very nice. So, let's see here. What we're going to do is we're going to play a song, and we'll be right back. Dr. Doug here, Feel Good Thursdays. We're here with Heather Diehl, Heather Diehl, Dr. Doug, and Jim Eskin. Snooky. Dr. Doug here with you. Feel Good Thursday. Welcome back to Time, Talent, and Treasure. We've got Heather Diehl, Dr. Doug, and Jim Eskin here. And so we were just talking about things that we can do, that the Area Foundation does for the community, all of the different funds they have, how you can contribute to the funds. And Heather's just been a wealth of information. We've had a great chat here, and a lot about what you guys do and how you guys operate. So, Heather, as we come to a close here today, what can someone do if they want to? Well, let me ask you this: How many employees are at the Area Foundation?
We are getting close to 50 employees.
Wow.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes, and considering the Area Foundation was run by volunteers
Okay,
until
yes.
1981.
Okay.
That's when we hired our first executive director.
Okay.
So going from that to nearly 50 employees.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, do you still have volunteers?
We do have volunteers. We have volunteers that sit on our community advisory committees,
Okay.
Our community outreach committees,
Okay.
and also our board members and board committees are all
So
volunteer.
now let me ask you, so if there is a call to action, something that someone wanted to do for the area foundation that might not necessarily be financial,
Right.
what could they do?
Absolutely. What I would suggest to them is to look at our website, to look at our social media, and find the thing that fuels their passion, and then we can put them in touch with the right staff person that can guide them and help them to get more involved.
And that web address is?
www.saafdn.org.
www.sa
Two A's.
FAA FN?
FDN.
FDN. Okay.
Yes. .org.
www.aafdn.org.
Yep. And Heather, before we let you leave, could you take a moment to comment on some of the top priorities for the Area Foundation in the coming year?
Sure, absolutely. We have just gone through a strategic planning process and are looking at our community, priorities for this next year. It's still very much in the internal discussions phase, even though we've had a lot of focus groups with many of our donors, our volunteers, and other stakeholders to the Area Foundation. But keep watch on our social media, keep watch on our website. We've got a lot of great information that's coming up.
San Antonio Area Foundation. Find them on Facebook, like them, follow them, find out what they do, come to their activities. Heather Diehl, thank you so much for being here with me today. We've had such a great conversation.
Thank you, Heather.
Yes, it's an honor.
And so, no, the honor is ours. And so if there's ever anything that you've got going on that you want to get out to the community, you come to us for your community radio station, KROVFM, and we'll be here with you and for you. So thank you once again so much.
Thank you.